Greetings, this is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777, and today we're going to talk a little bit about a few signs that you are a part of the walking dead, the spiritually dead. Now, I usually don't like to do these 10 signs you're an XYZ type of videos, but whatever it takes to help people to receive the message a bit clearly, I'm down for it. So, honestly, I don't really hate anybody, and I don't really harbor negative feelings towards anybody. But one thing that really does hurt is to see someone that you care about continue to suffer needlessly. And when I say suffer needlessly, I mean someone who goes through issues that can be resolved just with a different approach. But I'm sure as you've experienced, there are many people in our lives, especially family members, who are going through certain struggles, and to you the answer is simple, but to them it's this huge deal that they will not solve. So you may have heard me talk in the past about zombies, right? And I'm not talking about people that walk around here that are dead, eating flesh. That's the media version of it. But as everything that's on the big screen, it's a metaphor for what's actually going on in the real world. And what you notice is, in these zombie movies, there's always like one person or a small group of people who are desperately trying to survive amongst a mass of people who are pretty much just animals, savages, right? And they're seeking to eat and tear apart those few living people. That's a metaphor for those who are awakened, for those who are seeking enlightenment, for those who are going in a different direction. In contrast to the people who are living solely off of their animal instincts, who are just trying to survive and trying to eat and, ravage and destroy. And they see that these small group of survivors, so to put it, are a threat, right, are to be eliminated. And this is what often happens when you have a small group of people who are awakened or enlightened in the midst of the masses who are not. They're usually ostracized, villainized, and many attempts have been made to kill these people, right? You've got plenty of examples in most religions. So, honestly, it all boils down to your perspective and your approach and where you place your attention, right? If you are a victim and you are content with being a victim, you're what I consider one of the dead, right? One of the zombies, right? Because life is full of obstacles and challenges and opportunities for growth. And if you let these things continue to beat you down and tear you down, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're stagnant. And stagnation quickly leads to death. So let's talk about a few of these things. Number one, primarily, is a person who is so caught up with fear. They're tormented with fear. All they do is worry, and stress, and anything that happens, they're always worried about the worst possible outcome. Now, I get the fact that some people want to prepare, right, and be prepared and be ready for anything that might happen, but what I'm talking about is people who are stuck there, frozen in fear, right? They're up late at night thinking about the worst possible outcome. Why? Why do that, right? This is behavior that you can easily change, right? Learn to think positive. Learn to understand that anything that hasn't happened yet, at the very least, is a 50-50 outcome. It may be good, it may be bad. Why pick that bad and dwell on it? And what you find, if you look at your past, is most of the time that negative doesn't even really happen. It's always worse in your head. Always worse in your head. Right? So you got these people who are frozen with fear and afraid of so many things. Another sign that you're one of the spiritually dead is someone who's constantly nervous to speak up, right? You go through life and you have things happen to you and you may disagree with it, but you just don't have the inner strength to stand up for yourself, right? That's a sign of spiritual death. You can't express yourself. You can't stand up for what you believe in. This is a blockage in the throat chakra, All right, this is someone who cannot express their true will. And you're not going to grow or evolve or ascend if you can't express your true will, right? Because in this world, it is just you, but you're also amongst other people. And if you allow other people to dominate you, you are not set up for a lifestyle of growth. You are set up to be used and to be drained and to just be fuel and food for others who you allow to dominate you. The next sign is someone who is constantly questioning themselves. All right. Nobody's perfect. We understand that. But no one's supposed to be perfect. This is the material realm. The very nature of this material realm is that everything is flawed and is constantly in a state of decay. Right? So perfection has to be looked at in a specific way. It's not that you're perfect and everything is just flawless. Perfection is a mindset. It's a mindset of understanding that everything is in a continual process of flux, of change, right? And a mind that is able to navigate the waters of change is a mind that is more suited for perfection, right? So constantly questioning yourself, constantly doubting yourself, that's causing negative attention to be drawn to yourself on a repetitive basis. So if a frequency is how frequently you are thinking or doing a certain thing, what kind of frequency do you think it is where you're constantly in a state of fear and you're constantly doubting and questioning your abilities and your strength and your motive and your purpose? This is not a lifestyle of confidence. This is not a lifestyle of strength. And this is not a lifestyle of growth, leading to death, spiritual death. The next sign is a person who's constantly drained of energy. Well, you're most likely drained of energy because of what I mentioned previously. You're allowing other people and other things to take all your focus and all your attention and all your energy, all your efforts, right? You have someone who you're not speaking up against, and they are, for lack of a better word, forcing you to do things that you don't want to do. And it could be a boss, it could be a lover, it could be a friend or a family member, because you don't speak up for them or speak up for yourself. You are allowing your energy to be drained, right? Being in a constant state of fear is draining your energy because it's exhausting to worry all the time. It's exhausting to be depressed all the time, right? I know these things because I've been there before, but I came out of it because I did not like that lifestyle. And if you don't like this lifestyle, you have a very easy opportunity to break free of that frequency, because it has to do with your thought process. How frequently you're having these thoughts, that determines the frequency that you're in. And if you want to change that frequency, you need to change your thoughts. When these thoughts pop up, you need to tell yourself what you want your mind to be thinking, what you want your body to be feeling. You have to speak back to yourself. Literally, you have to put forth effort. You can sit here and scoff at it and think that it's stupid and continue to suffer. Or you can try something different. You can try something that you haven't done before. And I don't mean speak one good word into your life and then think it's all going to be fixed. It's a consistency. Just like you consistently tell yourself that you are not worthy of affection or attention, or you're not strong enough, or you're not good enough, or whatever. Just like you consistently tell yourself these things, you need to consistently tell yourself, yes, I'm strong enough. Yes, I'm good enough. Yes, I'm growing and evolving in every way. Right? You have to continually speak this into your mind so it becomes part of this tape cassette loop, so it becomes your frequency. It's not a once and done. It's not a one-time thing. You have to continually do it. Another sign is somebody who shuts down in order to receive support, right? There's a lot of people who just break down at any sight of conflict, right? If it gets too tough and too hard, you just break down and crumble up, and you wait for someone else to come and save you or pick you up, right? You do this thing to gain their attention, right? So somebody else will come and save you. It's a choice to break down. Let me tell you that. It is a choice to break down. You don't have to break down. Yeah, I understand things pile up and they get intense and they get hard and they get difficult. But there comes a point where you decide, okay, I'm going to give up. That's a choice. That's a choice. I've seen it. I've been through it. It's a decision. So instead of giving up, right? Because usually they say it's darkest before dawn. Usually they say it gets harder before it gets easier. You're giving up probably just before things are about to go in your favor. Stop doing that. right? You're never going to learn, you're never going to strengthen yourself if you keep breaking down and giving up and waiting for someone else to come save you, right? We got to break out of that pattern, right? We got to break free of that pattern of waiting for someone else to come save us and giving up when we could put forth just a little bit more, right? A little bit of effort to overcome, right? And yeah, like I said, it's not something that's easy, but it's simple to do. You just got to try it, right? Tough times don't last, but tough people do, right? Another sign of someone who is definitely not spiritually growing is someone who's really stuck when it comes to healing themselves, right? You're stuck at this one emotional problem or this one emotional trigger, right? And you're not really allowing yourself to grow. You may have an image of someone in your mind that has hurt you in the past, and you just can't forgive them. You can't move on. Even if this person has come to you and apologized or repented or whatever, you just can't let go, right? When you're stuck there, it drains you of your energy. It hurts you. It doesn't allow you to move forward. And that's not a good thing, because you're allowing that moment in time to continually affect you and continually hurt you. And this leads to the last sign, which is being stuck in a cycle of victimhood, for constantly blaming other people for your shortcomings and for your pain. So being stuck in a cycle of victimhood and blaming people constantly for your downfalls and for your troubles doesn't allow you to grow. All right, it's going to keep you stuck there. It's going to keep you stuck there, and you're never going to learn how to take responsibility for your spiritual path. Because if you're allowing other people to be the cause of your emotions and how you're feeling, you're allowing that other person power over yourself. You're allowing other people and other situations that happened to you in the past dominion over you. Okay? And if you're allowing something in the past like that to have power over you and how you feel, you're not going to grow. You're not going to evolve, because you're always going to stop short at that point, and you're going to point to that problem and that person. You're going to say, oh, it's your fault. Oh, it's because of you. It's because of that thing that happened to me in the past that I'm not able to move on. Well, that's never going to change unless you change it. Like, I know that sounds simple, but until you take responsibility for your growth and for your development, right? And I know a lot of people aren't going to like to hear this, right? It's not a popular thing to say, because because society wants to allow you to continue a cycle of weakness. This isn't really a popular thing to say. But ultimately, if there is something that has happened to you in the past and you keep finding yourself pointing at that thing, oh, this is why I feel this way, oh, this is why, that thing has power over you. And you can't grow if you're allowing that emotional spike, that trauma, to continue to have power over you. And this goes for everybody. Some situations are so bad that I can't even imagine, right? So I know you might be thinking, oh, well, you don't understand what happened to me. I get it. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to face that thing. And it's up to you whether you crumble under the pressure or you overcome. Okay? People have done it throughout history, and people do it every day. They overcome their obstacles and their problems. Now, this isn't about judgment of how I think about your situation. This is just stating what's clearly evident to me. You can't move on if you're letting something hold you down. That's just how it is. Now, on the flip side, to end this on a more positive note, these are a few signs of someone who is actually spiritually alive, spiritually growing, and spiritually moving upward, moving forward. What I like to call spiraling up in a 9 pattern. All right, so we're dealing with somebody who's aligned with their soul's purpose. It's really hard to figure out what you're called to do and what you're supposed to be here for. Some people don't figure it out for 30 years. Some people figure it out in 15 years. But someone who is living a spirit-led life are doing things that they want to do, right? If they have a passion for dancing, they're going to dance, and they're not worried about what other people are going to say or judge them by. You're living according to your purpose, right? Another sign that you're spiritually alive is that you're paying attention to your inner voice. You're listening to your intuition. And that intuition that's speaking, that is the voice of your soul. right, of your higher self. It is silently nudging you and guiding you to go in the right direction. Somebody who's living a spirit-led life is listening to that inner voice, and they're doing things that they feel comfortable with, that make them happy, that bring them joy, that cause them to live in a positive frequency, right? So this is definitely something that you'll find in somebody who's spiritually alive. You'll also find the quality of someone who's open to receive, right? Somebody who looks forward to every day. Not somebody who's complaining, but somebody who's open to receive abundance, who's open to receive help, who's open to learn. You'll find that a lot of people who are really closed and have a negative outlook on life, they can't take compliments, they can't take gifts, they can't look at kindness without suspecting malpractice or foul play. So you'll have somebody that's open to receive. You'll also find, as someone who is awakened and living their spirit-led life and being someone who's awake, you'll find that we take a little bit more care to protect our energy, right? We find that we recognize that there are people out there who do have a tendency to drain us, to take our attention, to spew negativity into our lives. Usually you'll find that we take care to separate from people who just don't vibe properly, right? People who are draining, who are parasites, or who are just very negative, who have just a harsh energy. We like to stay away from those type of people, and you'll find that you guard your energy, you protect yourself so that you can have your whole mind without any negative influences. So that being said, you're known to create strong boundaries, right? Even if these are people that you have to deal with, you've learned to create boundaries in such a way that they're not able to take your energy without your consent. Or you're able to set it up where it's a fair exchange. Another positive sign is that you're very comfortable in your own skin. You're very comfortable being your true, authentic self, right? You're not so much worried about how other people think of you and judge you. Maybe you have been in the past, but you've learned to overcome that, right? This is a sign of somebody who is spiritually awakened and on the proper path of evolution and self-development. Because these little petty emotional things you really got to master and get a grip on before you deal with the higher spiritual things, right? Because these little things are mostly based in the physical world and deal with physical human society, and they're not that important. You know what I'm saying? We really shouldn't be concerned with how someone cares about how you dress or, you know, the type of music you listen to or any of that little small stuff. So you would have mastered this stuff already. Right? And probably the most powerful sign of somebody who is on their path and growing and moving forward is somebody who's paying attention to their triggers, someone who is noticing the things that are holding them back, the things that cause them to react emotionally, right? They're noticing these things and they're taking effort to fix these things. So I'm not saying anything bad about anyone who has these issues. The main problem with these issues is if you're someone who isn't trying to fix these things. If you're somebody who's just content with being upset all the time, somebody who's happy with being stressed out all the time, someone who is just fine allowing other people to use them and drain their energy and their resources all the time, right? If you find yourself in that situation, you don't like it, you can start today to change that. And it all starts with your thought process. It starts with thinking positively. It thinks with feeling positively. It starts with doing things in accordance with your positive mindset. You got to take action, right? It's not just wishful thinking. It's not just one time I'm going to say something good about myself. It's a flow. It's a frequency. You got to get into the pattern, into the habit of being positive. So this was just one of those list videos about this topic. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777.